Hello everyone, I'm Morgan, and today I wanted to do the third part in my series of reading the Booktube SFF Awards shortlist. So today we're going to talk about the middle grade category. So as I mentioned at the end of the last part, I'm going to review these books instead of showing you like a vlog of me reading these books because I didn't have time to film clips while I was reading them. So I'm just going to review them in the order that I read them, I think, because it's been some time for some of them. So the first one I need to talk about is Dead Voices by Katherine Arden, as well as Small Spaces, as Dead Voices is the second book in the series. So I had not read the first one, so I read both of them. This series is about a girl whose mother has died. She is living with her father, and one day she goes out from her house and she sees some women that she doesn't know throw a book away, and instead of letting the women throw the book, she takes the book home, though the woman is trying to warn her from not doing that. But she still takes it home and starts to read it, and she reads about this woman who made a pact with some men, and after she made the pact she got her husband back, but someone else had to go instead of him, and it's a bit dark. All of this book was pretty spooky, I guess. So this girl goes on a school trip, and she ends up meeting this man that she had read about, and he doesn't want to let her or her friends go, so she has to find a way to get out of this place that he has stuck them in. Basically they go to this place, and then it's like they went to another world and they can't get out. She actually has with her a watch that her mother has given her quite a long time ago, and the watch is trying to help her sometimes see ghosts and some other stuff that are trying to help her get out. And it's so about them and this that is happening. I don't really remember a lot of this book, to be honest. It didn't really stick with me, this one or the second one, which were pretty similar. The second one actually takes place in a ski lodge where some ghosts have been said to be, and they go to this place because they have been invited. Their parents have been anyway, and it's said that there's something going on but they don't really know, and they start seeing ghosts, so obviously they know that something is not right, and again they have to try to find a solution. These books are good, I guess. Like, I enjoyed myself when I was reading them, but they didn't really stick with me. They were, fine. I like them, but not really the best books I've ever read. Again, I mean, it's middle grade, so I didn't have like huge expectations, so enjoying yourself is good enough, I guess, but I just maybe wanted something more, I don't know. Then the second book I wanted to mention is Tunnel of Bones by Victoria Schwab. This is the second book in the Cassidy series, the first book being City of Bones. This is about a girl, Cassidy Blake, who can see ghosts after she has come very close to death. She managed to survive after she fell in the lake because some ghosts called Jacob of a kid actually got her out of there, and ever since she can see ghosts, and this ghost Jacob has been staying with her and has has become her best friend. And at the beginning of the first book, she goes to Edinburgh with her parents because her parents are doing this show on TV about ghosts, and so they are trying to film in Edinburgh because it is said that this city is incredibly haunted, and she has never told any of her parents that she can see ghosts because she thinks they would think she's crazy. And Cassidy actually meets some other girl in Edinburgh that can also see ghosts. It's quite a fun book. I like it. It's the kind of book that I've liked when I was a kid. I loved stuff about ghosts, both TV shows and movies mostly. But in book format I think it works as well. But the thing is, Victoria Schwab, do I like her writing? She seems to talk a lot to say almost nothing, and that bothers me. Like, while you're reading it, it's easy to read, and like you get through it really quickly, but after, like, you can barely remember anything because there's just not much to remember. And it bothers me. Like, I've read so many books by V. Schwab as of now, and I feel the same about most of them. I was okay reading them while it was happening, but it's not very memorable. Like, the characters are not developed very much. It's just, yeah, the plot is so thin, and yeah, just not much happens. And I'm fine if nothing happens, but the characters are like really changing, but that's not what's happening in those books, so like, what's the point? And so, like, the second book is pretty similar to the first one, except that they go to Paris, and obviously there are some ghosts that are trying to harm them, both in the first and second books, so they have to try to fight them in some way. Again, like, they're fine, but they're not especially good, and they don't stick in my mind at all, so I would not necessarily recommend them, though they're very fast reads. However, so there's that. Next I had Dragon Pearl by Yoon. This one I actually quite enjoyed. This was about a girl whose brother goes missing at the beginning of the book. Specifically, there's an inspector that comes to their house and says that he has defected, and so she doesn't want to believe that her brother has defected. She has always really loved him, and she is quite proud of him. He's in this flight school, I think, and no, yeah, pilot school, something like that. And she wants to find out what happened to him because she doesn't believe this inspector. So she leaves the house without telling anyone, and she is trying to find information about her brother. Basically, this book is science fiction and fantasy, because also everyone in this family can change into foxes. This is part of Korean folklore that I've heard a bit about over the years. I really like this little myth about people who can turn into foxes, and she seems to have some abilities also to convince people that she doesn't always know how to control, but she's trying to use that to her advantage in this book. And yeah, I really enjoyed her journey. Her trying to find her brother, and just the way she went through all the experiences, because it wasn't easy for her, obviously. She is really young, she has never really gone into flight schools and such, yet she manages to infiltrate most places to find out about her brother, and she never gives up. So this was a really nice book to read. I was surprised how much I liked it, honestly, but I also really liked the technology. It felt very much like science fiction, and I really enjoyed that, you know. And the last book was Sal and Gabi Break the Universe by Hernandez. This one had also quite a bit about physics actually, because so we follow this small boy, Sal, who has just moved to another city, and he has to make friends with some people. He loves doing magic, so that's the thing that people start knowing about him right away. He is always trying to do some magic tricks and to surprise people and make them laugh. He's just a great character to follow, and he meets this girl Gabi in her school, in his school, that he is not sure how to deal with. She's always trying to get the upper hand on him, but she's also sweet at times, and it's just a really sweet book. I read this one fairly quickly and I enjoyed it so much. So it's about Sal obviously trying to adjust to this new school, but also he has some powers because sometimes he can make things or people appear from other dimensions, and as his mother has died a few years before, he sometimes makes her appear without meaning to, but his father is actually a physicist and he's making some research about these parallel universes that his son believes in, and so it's about them trying to find out what exactly this is that he can do and if there is a problem with that, because they think that it can be really risky because there's some residue each time after he does this, and so he's trying to fix that. So it's about that, him trying to get used to this new school, trying to make friends with people, be nice but also not getting trampled. It was just such a sweet book, and I loved the science aspect of things, and the way they all work with their families, because so also Gabi has a huge family, and the problem in this book is that she has a very small brother who is in the ICU. They're not sure if he's going to make it because he has some immune systems problems, and so Sal tries to help her with her life, trying to be there for her, but also help her brother specifically. It's quite emotional and sweet and really beautiful. The little thing that annoyed me is that there are quite a few sentences that are in Spanish, and though I don't really mind, I wish they were translated. Like, I enjoy the culture that they had, because you had quite a few characters who were from Cuba. They kept talking about the food that they were making and how good it smelled and tasted, so that I really like the culture. I just wished it was translated because sometimes I was a little confused and I wished I understood, though I know it wasn't like extremely important, otherwise they would have translated, and sometimes it is translated. But yeah, just a little thing, but overall I love this one. The second book has actually recently come out, so I ordered that one and the first one because I didn't own it. I really loved it, and as you can probably tell, this is my winner for this category. I think it's so good, it's original, I love the culture, I love how sweet it is, and how good Sal is. Like, he's really trying to be nice to everyone and do things right, but it's not easy for him. And I love the magic, how he kept trying to do some magic tricks and the ideas that he has. It's just, yeah, it's really great, and I'd highly recommend this book. I've actually bought another book by Hernandez on my ebook, on my e-reader. This is actually an adult book of short stories about science fiction. I think Carlos Hernandez knows quite a bit about physics, and as I'm a physics major, I think it's really interesting to see, and the ideas that he has are so interesting, so I cannot wait to read more by this author. But yeah, that's all for me. Thank you for watching. Please tell me if you have read these books and what you thought of them, or if you read some middle grades and if you have some recommendations for me maybe, because I really enjoyed doing this. I don't typically read middle grade very much, but these ones were pretty good actually overall. Well, some more than others obviously, but still like fairly enjoyable. So yeah, that's all for me. Thank you for watching again, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye. Dream I know, deep up my feelings.